All right, so hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to use Google Assignments, which is a new integration that I turned on in Canvas, I think last fall, sort of mid-semester I turned it on. It's fairly new to Google. Previously we had Google Drive, which is actually still an integration in there. And you're gonna see how Google Assignments is a little bit of a robust tool in itself within Canvas. And just as a summary, what it allows you to do is when you're creating an assignment in Canvas, you can use Google Assignments to assign via Google Drive a document or a sheet or a slide to all of your students in your class. And you can create a template that has instructions on it. They then get a copy of it in their drive and that they can access through Canvas that they then edit and make their work in. Then they will submit it and you then can use all of the different Google editing tools to give feedback to them if you choose to do that. So it's useful, especially for, I think, written type of homework assignments, or if you're a professor that uses Google Sheets, or slides, like for presentations, that type of thing, for collaboration. And it's just one of the other features in Canvas that I think would be useful, because I have heard from a lot of you that you like to use Drive in your course. So that's how you use Google Assignments, and I'll go through it and I'll show you what the student side looks like as well, with Sarah submitting work to it. And then I'll also show you how you can use Google Drive for file uploads, which is really helpful, I think, for those of you teaching multimedia classes where students have large files stored in their Google Drive that they want to share with you. And that way you can keep your grading work in Canvas, but you can be accessing like the storage capacity and flexibility of Google Drive to collect student work, so they don't have to wait for a big file to upload. So I think that's useful. And I'll also then at the end show you how to embed Google Drive files into modules and into pages. So those are the different steps that we'll go through today. All right, and feel free, this is a small group, to just interrupt with questions as I'm going through it. I think it's best if you just watch what I do, because if you follow along, there are lots of things that pop up. So watch what I do and then try it on your own. I have had to do this a few times, and also my disclaimer is that I have not taught with this feature yet. It's pretty new to me as well. So we might discover some things together. All right, I'm gonna share my desktop. Okay. So this is my test course page. Can you all see it? Yes? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Never really know if I've shared the right desktop. Okay, so I've made a module that has a few different assignments already created, but I'm actually going to go through the motions of making a new assignment so that Sarah can show you how to upload it and I can show you how to make it. So I'm going to hit this plus sign here, and I'm going to add an assignment. I'm going to create an assignment, and I'm going to call this test Google assignment. And I'm going to add the item there. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it so I don't forget that. And I'm going to click on it to go in and edit it. Okay, so then I'll edit. And you can treat this just like you would any assignment, in the sense that you're going to write a description here. You can assign points to it just like you would. I'll just say 10 points for now. You can put it in the assignment group. The key here is that when you go to submission type, you're going to choose external tool. So this is if you want to use this Google Assignments. And then you're going to try to find the Google tool. And this is where integrations, third-party apps are built in. So we're looking for not Google Drive Cloud Assignment, but Google Assignments LTI 1.3. And if it has LTI 1.3 at the end, you know you're at the right one. This is the most recent one. So we're going to click on it. And it's going to bring up this new window. It's asking for me to authorize my Google account. So yes, this is the right account. If you have multiple Google accounts, make sure it's the right one. It should just point to this since you're logged in with it. to Canvas. And then it pops up yet another window that says create a Google assignment. And you have a bunch of choices here. So we'll just have some fun with it. It allows you to, you have to sort of make a choice here, and you can go back and change this, but not once you start grading, I don't think. So the first one is, do you want to use a plagiarism checker? And if you remember, Canvas has a plagiarism checker that works with Canvas's grading tool, SpeedGrader, and that's called Turnitin. So Canvas already has that capacity. But if you want to use Google Assignments to grade, you might want to use the Google plagiarism checker. So let's see what it looks like. And unfortunately, it only lets you do this for 5 of your assignments. So make sure it's ones that you think plagiarism detection is really needed on. So I'm gonna use that just to show you what it looks like. And then I'm also choosing to grade with Google Assignments versus SpeedGrader. And when you, we'll show you the difference between the two of them. SpeedGrader is what we're used to, what I've done past demos on. Google Assignments is a very, very close approximation of all of those tools, but it has a few more limitations and a few more extra capabilities. So I'm gonna make a new file here. You can attach one or you can create one. I'm gonna do a new doc. It should open up another window. Oh no, it just did this. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the doc and I'm going to call it essay prompt. Write your essay on the assigned topic below. So what I'm doing is I'm creating like a template for my students, and every student in the class is going to get a copy of this doc that's just for them that they can then edit. So you can include a whole prompt here. You can include an outline for the essay. You can include anything you want. And as you saw, it was like you could work with a sheet also. So you have a few different capacities here. Okay, I did that. Now what do I do? Right, okay, so this is it here. Each student will get a copy. Lastly, if you want to assign a rubric, if I'm using the Google assignments and I want to grade with a rubric, I can either create a rubric. I'm going to reuse one because I just had a basic one that I think I made. Let's see if it remembers it. Okay. Just going to select that one. It's very similar to the rubrics in Canvas, but not as pretty at all. Not nearly as pretty, I'll say. Okay, and you can, it'll remember them all. So if you start to really use this tool and build it, you can build a ton of them and it will remember. I had 2 that you saw it pulled up. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit create this Google assignment. Does anyone have any questions before I do that? Okay. Saving details. And then I'm gonna go back to the, did it do it? Oh my gosh, what happened? Hold on, something happened. Essay prompt, update. Am I in some weird loop? There we go. I had to hit select instead of cancel. So you know that it did it because it has this link to it. You can always go back in and change it later. Like you can go into find and you can change your configuration for it. I'm going to allow unlimited attempts. I'm going to make it so then you do the normal stuff you do for an assignment. I'll make it due on Saturday. I'll make it accessible starting yesterday. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, test Google assignment. So here it is, and you can see that it embeds this Google window here. No student submissions yet. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. I'm going to stop my screen share. And Sarah, go ahead and see if you can share your screen and then find that test Google assignment in the course.
All right, I'm trying to just share the correct window. So I think that should do it.
Yeah,
all right, so great. You can see I've pulled up the assignments. I'm going to click on the test Google assignments. And I am signed in as a student right now. So you can see that's why I have the pink frame around this. There it is. Okay. So what we found is the best thing for the student to do is just hit the open to add, attach, and submit. And it gives you this full thing. I'm just going to click on this link right here. And it takes me to that shared document. So I have copied the lorem ipsum, part of the lorem ipsum. So let me get that. There we go. So this should also bring up some plagiarism review for us, since I did just copy all this off the internet. And then when I'm ready, it auto saves. I go back to the main window and I should be able to just hit submit here. Do you want me to run the originality report just to show what happens with that, or do I do that?
Yeah. I just wanted to point out that students have the capability, if you've turned on a plagiarism tool, to look themselves at the originality report, so they can sort of see, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Like I copied a lot off the internet or something.
Yeah, so you can see it takes a few minutes to get going. We're at 88%.
And Google talked about this in the Woo Tech Day. They are using like their Google search engines for their plagiarism review. Kind of interesting.
Okay, so this one's kind of funny. We found this earlier when we tested it. It should know that this is all coming from one document because it's a really standard placeholder text. But what you can see is it's looked through all these different websites and it's like, I think it's coming from all these different websites, which is a little bit weird, but at least you can see that it is catching that I've copied. So then
I think that's also the nature of Google, because it's a Google search driven instead of what Turnitin does, which is a little bit more of detecting original sources.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to hit submit. And then I'll stop sharing so you can see what Teresa sees as soon as this goes through. So that gives me the "you're all set" window.
Okay, and then I'm going to share my screen. And on this screen now, let's see, I'm going to refresh it because it says no student submissions yet. But there it is. There's Sarah's. And something that's kind of neat is before she even submits, you'll get a view here of all of your students in your course as they're starting to work on it. So as soon as they make a change in that Google Doc, their name will pop up here and you can go in, and this might be creepy for your students, but you can go in and see them working on that Google Doc, and you can actually make comments and suggestions while they're working on it. I think this could be really useful because if your student is like, hey, could you take a look at my first draft? I'm really stuck. You can go in there and give them some suggestions before they actually submit it. So it has that potential for, being able to give feedback even before they submit. So I'm going to click on this to take a look at it. And I see her submission here, the lovely lorem ipsum. And it shows me that there are 42 flagged passages. So this is the same originality report that Sarah got on her side of things. And as far as grading tools, it looks very similar to SpeedGrader. On the right-hand side, you see the file at the top. You have the ability to enter the total grade, how many points out of 10. And here's a rubric that I set up. So it was super simple. I did length, writing clarity, references, ideas, and thesis. And I did write a description for each of these. Let's see if I open the rubric in a new window, if it gives me the full one. Yes, it does. So this is kind of cool because this is probably the better view of it. Like length, essay is at least 200 words. So I can assign points to it, I think. How do I do this? See if I close it, maybe it'll, oh, this is where I do it, like 1 out of 2, 2 out of 2, 2 out of 2, say. And then that gives me 7 out of 10, and that's the grade. So it's not as beautiful of a rubric, not as many options as you see with the Canvas rubrics. It has a little comment box in the bottom, but it doesn't look like you can put comments on each of the different criteria the way you can in Canvas, or at least it doesn't appear that way to me at this point. So you can write a comment and you can return it to the student, return the submission, or at this point, I think I have graded it. So that's using the Google grading options. As another example, I wanted to show you what it looks like if you choose the speed grader option. Oh, and I should also mention, once she has submitted this, Sarah can actually go into the document and keep editing it. And wait, Sarah, help me remember. Do I then see the edits? Oh no, sorry. If we're using Google assignment grading,
I can't edit any.
Sarah cannot edit it. So this is an advantage to using Google assignment grading, is that once she submitted it, it locks the document. She can't keep working on it. Also, I forgot to demonstrate this. In addition to these like basic grading features that are similar to SpeedGrader, you can use all of the grading, all of the different suggestion and commenting functions. So I could write in, this is what I'd write here as a suggestion. You can, you know, all the things that you sort of love about Google Docs, you know, the comments, the emojis that they have now. So you can use that, as well as, you know, being able to highlight text, change colors, all sorts of things. So it is really advantageous because you have access to those elements, and it becomes much more of like a collaborative document where you're giving suggestions and feedback. You can return it to them, they could edit it and then resubmit it. I think it's really great for writing and sort of learning that way. Does anyone have questions about those feedback tools with this Google assignment? Okay. So then if we wanted to set one up, and I already set this one up with SpeedGrader. So I did the same thing, except when I created the Google assignment, I chose SpeedGrader. So I'm using the Canvas tool. And Sarah actually already submitted something here. We did that this morning. And I used a rubric in Canvas. So this is like how rubrics work in Canvas. They look a little bit more elegant, I think. But when I'm ready to grade it, I can click on SpeedGrader. So instead of clicking in here, I'm clicking on SpeedGrader. And this looks just like we're used to with SpeedGrader. The trick here is that it's going to convert it to a view-only document for me as a teacher. So I don't have access to the Google editing. It's not a Google Doc anymore. It's just a file that's been submitted. It's kind of like them submitting a PDF. So I can use all of those usual like text boxes, strike throughs, pins, highlighter, all the things that are available in SpeedGrader. I can use my rubric to grade them. I can assign my grade here. I have the comment tool in the bottom. And this is what Google Assignments didn't have. I can attach something. I can record myself talking or on a video. So that's something Google Assignment didn't have, are those media attachments. But this is like a familiar grading feature. The one thing you have to be careful of is that your students will still be able to edit their Google document, but the changes won't come across here. So they might think that they've changed something, but they don't. I feel like using SpeedGrader is a tiny bit confusing with Google Assignments, and that if you're going to use the Google Assignment, you might just want to commit to it full on and use the Google Assignment grading features. But I wanted to show you what it looked like in SpeedGrader. Okay, any questions there? Spurring any ideas?
I've got a quick question. Maybe I'm just missed
Yes.
this. When you use the Google assignment grader, does the grade populate into Canvas automatically?
It should. Let's go ahead and see. So which one was the one that I graded? I think it was called test. Let me see, Google assignment, Google grader, B grader. So this was the Google grader. Yep. And she got an 8. I did this one before. So that was a Google graded assignment and it showed there.
Like the
test Google assignment.
assignment.
This one didn't show up yet. Did I not do something?
Oh,
feel like
try
I was supposed-
returning it to me.
Okay, yep, that should do it. Return is a weird word though. It makes me feel like I'm returning it because it's not, wasn't done well, but and it didn't show up just yet.
Huh.
It's supposed to work with Gradebook. That is something that they said in like the tutorial I watched. So, let's see if I go back to the assignment. Status, 7 out of 10. 1 returned, 0 submitted.
So in the
Okay.
student view, I can see that I got a 7 out of 10 on it.
Okay, well, that's good. But it's not, oh, are you in the test student? Because it's showing
that's-
7 out of
that's
10
it,
there.
Because, yeah, that's it, because I was looking at the student view.
Oh, I see.
This
Okay,
is-
so yeah, it did show up then. It
Mhm,
just,
mhm.
I thought it would show up under your name instead of the
Yeah.
student view, but okay, so then, yeah, it comes through. Good question, KRB, though. Okay, I'm gonna go back to our module and show you, and hopefully these can just start to like spur some ideas and you can put them into action. You can, I'm recording this, so you can watch this video and come back to it. But there are a few more things I wanted to show you. So if you want to Google Drive as file uploads, this is what I want to look at. If you want to make an assignment where instead of using that whole Google assignment feature where you're creating a doc and then your students get to edit it, you just want to use Drive for students to be able to upload Drive materials, it is super easy to do that. So if you go into edit, here's my assignment. This is to show you how you can allow students to submit their own Google Drive files for assignments. So I'm setting it up as 10 points. That's my assignment group. The main thing is that you have to, here where it says submission type, you have to go down to online and you have to check file uploads. And that's what we do most of the time for most things where you're collecting work online. You don't have to do anything else. I did the date and everything. But as a student, and I think I'll just go into the student view for this, when a student looks at this assignment, they can go into start assignment, and instead of file upload, all they have to do is click on Google Drive. They could also go to Google Drive LTI 1.3, and they can let you, from there, you go select file, it'll connect to your Google Drive and show like your most recent, you can navigate through it, you can upload something directly. And I'll just use this copy of Sarah's. I'll add it in there. And then I'll say submit.
Like, I have a question on that.
Yes,
How will they know to choose that? I mean, my students don't remember things for more than.
you can show
know,
them. So what I just did was I went into the student view.
They won't remember when I'm not there. Like,
Well, hopefully they remember. So if you,
They
you
won't.
say, look, this is the assignment, go to student view and show them when you go to submit it, make sure to go to Google Drive. Like you can demonstrate this on the screen for them.
yeah.
So
yeah,
they
I-
know. It's just a different, say, look for the Google Drive button.
I-
And you can probably include that in the assignment instructions right up here. So it's right there. You could take a screenshot of it. So it's right there for them, embedded into the assignment.
Okay.
That should be enough. Hopefully they'll get used
I
to
don't
it.
think so.
If not,
They won't
then-
remember it because they're always, they're
I would
tired,
put it
you
in the
know?
directions. Yeah,
I
because
mean, I
that's
can-
right
yeah.
there. If they read the directions, and if they don't read the directions, that's their own fault, right?
So up,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is that this is that box that they'll always
Mhm.
see. So that would be the place to insert it. And I think once they get used to it, hopefully they'll figure it out. But I don't know if they can't figure out how to click on the Google Drive button. Yeah. So that's how you can have students submit Google Drive work instead of just having them upload files. It doesn't give you that view into, like, if I go into SpeedGrader, then it is just a doc. It's not a live Google Doc that they're submitting. So it's comes across as this copy.
But if they're submitting video, then when I look in there, will I see like their video file?
I don't know. We'd have to test that out and see. I honestly don't know the answer to that. Yeah.
That's
Has
what we use
anyone
it
used
for.
this for video? I imagine there'll be a link to it or something. The other thing you can do if you really want them just to have a link to something is they can copy and paste a link. So that's one of the options there. Okay. The last thing I'm going to show you all is, let's say you wanted to share a Google Drive file. This is a feature that's been around for a while, but in case it's something that you haven't taken advantage of yet, you can embed a Google Drive file. So I started a page. I just went up here and I started a page in my module that I called embedding Google Drive files. So here's this page. Doesn't have anything in it yet, but I'm going to edit it. And the trick here is to click on this little Google Drive icon. And what that does is it pulls up that same little window into your Google Drive. So I'm going to try to find, what was the thing that I was using? Oh, here it is. Google Drive embed. Attach. Again, kind of strange language because it's not really attaching, it's embedding it. And then I'm going to hit save just so you can see what it's going to look like to students. So this is an example of like a great way to embed a Google Doc. This is a check-in meeting sign up. So you can put this here in this page and it's just instructions like, students sign up for a check-in meeting with me, and automatically all the students in your class will have access to this file and they can write their names in. So it's a way that you can like collaborate on a Google Doc, but keep it embedded in your Canvas site.
And so,
And I think, yeah.
With that, you don't have to share it with them on the actual Google Drive page. You just
No,
share
it does. It should do it automatically as soon as you hit embed because it's through your course site.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's a nice way to use it. Another way, if you don't want to have to create a page, you just want to sort of put it in here, is you can click on, this is how you would add it to a module. You can click on this plus sign and you can go down to external tool, and then you can search for Google Drive LTI 1.3.
Teresa,
And
I
then,
just uploaded a video to your Google Drive as files uploads to see.
oh, great. So we
wanna
can
show
check
people
that
at
out
the end.
after.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. So here's another one. Here's a Google module example. So I chose my Google Doc file, going to add the item, and it's right here. It comes up as a linked file. I'll publish it. But if I click on it, what it will do is it will just open it, kind of like what I just did before. Looks like a page, but it's just opening it. And this is another example of how you could use it. Reading questions. Please post questions in relation to the assigned reading below. We'll use these questions in class as a basis for our discussion. So you could assign your students to write questions here, and then everyone can see them, and you can use it as a way to discuss. You could also do that in a discussion, tool in Canvas, but it's a nice collaborative document where people can hit, use the suggestion feature and comment feature. So that's just how you would embed it in a module rather than in a page. So you have those two options there. And then which assignment was that?
Well, it
Do you
was the
remember?
Google Drive as file uploads. It should have just gone through.
This one, okay.
Mhm.
Let's see if there has been a submission from Sarah. So here's the test student, Sarah's. So Marilyn will be disappointed. It's not an actual video that shows You have to download it. Let's see if it'll allow for a preview. Not going to. Yeah, Canvas isn't good at handling like robust files natively. That's kind of disappointing. You'd have to download it to be able to view it, but it does keep it in Canvas so that you can use all the grading features. And get
Is it
feedback
easy
there.
to download everything out of Canvas, or does it, where
Well,
can you get
can,
it?
You can hit this little arrow here, or when you're in the main assignment, once everyone has submitted, you can click this and it'll do a bulk download of everyone's. And that's good to do just for archiving student work in general, but it'll fill up your hard drive. So get an external hard drive to put all that stuff on. Because I imagine if you're collecting, did it take a long time to upload that video, Sarah?
No, not really.
I mean, it was on your Google Drive already. So
Right, it was on my Google Drive, so I just linked it over and it.
So I think, yeah, for this workflow, it means that if students are already using Google Drive to archive their work, then it puts the labor on the faculty member to download it and open it up and look at it, which maybe that's better than having the student have to wait for an upload to happen. Yeah, so it's maybe a little bit nicer than just having them upload a file into Canvas that takes forever. Okay, so that's all I had to show you all, but I'm happy to review anything that's confusing or answer some questions or talk about how you might use these tools.
I had a question, because on the team projects, I like them to keep track of the time they spend, like in a Google Sheet. And if I put that in Pages, then they could all put their time in there, like, it's like being on a job.
Yeah, like that sign up sheet I made, for example.
Yeah, so then when you make one of those and it goes that everyone is using the same sign up sheet, I could just make a spreadsheet and they could find the week and their name and put the hours they worked in that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You can make a spreadsheet too if you want it to be like hours that they enter and it totals it at the bottom.
Right, that's what I
really
want.
Nice
Yeah,
use of a spread. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that sounds great. Great. Good.
Yeah, good use case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully this was helpful. Sarah and I are here if you have more questions. And I'm sort of learning this new feature too. So happy to help you troubleshoot it. It helps me learn it better when I hear more use cases. So thanks, everyone. I'll post the recording to this so you can see it.
I'm staying on, Teresa, to ask you a question.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.